I'm sorry, James, but we've just had confirmation, haven't we, in the last few hours from the United States, from intelligence operations there in Washington, to say that there is now confirmation, evidence confirmation, that there is the use of hospitals in Gaza by terror organisation Hamas. This is what we've talked about, this being something that is rumoured. It's now confirmed.
Well, it's confirmed by the U.S., but, Peta, I mean, Israel has been saying this for ages, so I don't know why we need the U.S. to confirm something that Israel has already said when, of course, people seem to be willing to take the Hamas Ministry of Health, as Orwellian a name as that is, for its word. They should take Israel for its word, too. The important thing about this, too, is that in Article 19 of the Geneva Conventions, once a hospital becomes used by a militant group or a military for military offensive purposes, which is what is happening here, it loses its protected status. So this again underlines the way that Hamas so cynically uses Palestinian people, Arab people, to create this sort of situation where they get all of this sympathy for being just plain evil.
Matt, just on that issue today, it mightn't seem like a big thing to some people that a Jewish school asked for a quote for a jumping castle for an event for kids and was told they wouldn't have it because this company in Western Sydney wouldn't provide any goods and services to Jews. They then said, well, we're not against Jews, we're against Israel. Well, hang on, this is a school in Sydney, it wasn't a school in Jerusalem. But I have to say, we all remember Bill Leak. He had a cartoon calling out an uncaring Aboriginal parent. Well, he was absolutely taken to the cleaners through all of those human rights organisations that exist. How do they go after issues about a cartoon and the myriad of human rights bodies in this country, anti-racism bodies, anti-discrimination bodies, are basically silent at the moment on anti-Semitism?
Well, yeah, that was absolutely terrible what happened to Bill Leak, and his family members believe that it helped drive him to an early death. And that wasn't the only case. There was a Catholic bishop in Tasmania who was hauled through a similar process because he was distributing flyers opposed to the same-sex marriage plebiscite. Here in Darwin, I remember we had a barber who was hauled before the Anti-Discrimination Commission because she ran a men's barber shop and she refused to give a woman a haircut. These are the sort of things that, these commissions have been getting themselves tied up in knots about, and yet here we have a clear case of religious and racial discrimination, and we haven't heard boo from them at this point. I thought it was interesting in Kenny Heatley's report on this issue today. He said that under this Act, under this Anti-Discrimination Commission, that religious discrimination is not actually part of that. It's only, Jewish people only fall under that because they're considered a race for the purpose of this legislation. So I think there's a loophole there as well, because I think, to be refusing people a service of any kind, whether it's a jumping castle or whether it's a plumber or an electrician, because they are of a particular faith or a particular race, is something that has no place in this country.
And we know too, James Morrow, we've got a case in Tasmania. A councillor has been taken to official task over the fact that she referred to a trans woman as remaining a biological male. Well, that's a statement of scientific fact.
Well, yeah, and I mean, Peta, it's so funny in all these cases, in Australia, we love to say that we trust the science, we believe in science. Oh, the holy, blessed science tells us things. And yet when somebody, goes against what is now the woke ideology, which of course means that science can be bent to mean anything that they want it to mean, of course you're in trouble. And this is just the whole problem here. If you cannot say that A is A, that a biological male is a biological male, somebody born a certain way, their chromosomes, which they cannot change, then science becomes such a captured institution of politics, and we cannot rely on it any more than we can these human rights bodies that are using science to perpetrate their own very unscientific agendas.